the designer handbag hit Amina square in the chest, knocking her backward into the mud. "You witch! You cursed our family!" Mrs. Bukola screamed, her gold bracelets jangling as she pointed at the trembling maid. Behind her, 5 other wealthy women formed a circle, their expensive perfume mixing with the smell of Amina's fear. "Please, Ma. I didn't do anything," Amina cried, covering her head as they advanced. But no one was listening. In the world of the rich, accusations don't need proof, only power. If you want to see how this poor maid became the woman these billionaires now work for, then stay till the very end of this story. But first, hit that subscribe button right now, drop a like, and comment redemption if you believe hard work can silence every lie. Now let me take you back to where it all began, 3 years before this brutal day that changed everything forever. Amina was 22 when she arrived in Lekki Phase 1, carrying nothing but a small bag and dreams bigger than the mansions surrounding her. She had traveled from Kaduna after her mother died, leaving her with nothing but debt and a younger brother to feed. "You're lucky I'm even considering you," Mrs. Bukola had said during the interview, looking Amina up and down with disgust. "My last 3 maids were useless. If you disappoint me, you're out. Do you understand?" "Yes, Ma." "Thank you, Ma," Amina whispered, bowing her head. She needed this job desperately. For the first 6 months, Amina worked harder than anyone Mrs. Bukola had ever hired. She woke at 4 in the morning to prepare breakfast before the family stirred. She scrubbed floors until they sparkled, washed clothes by hand even though there was a washing machine, and never complained when Mrs. Bukola's teenage daughter, Tiniola, treated her like that. "Amina, come and carry my bag from the car," Tiniola would shout from the driveway. "Amina, my room is dirty. Clean it again." And Amina would smile and say, "Yes, Sister Tenny," even when her knees ached and her hands cracked from bleach. But Mrs. Bukola's friends noticed something else about Amina: she was beautiful. Not in the obvious way of Lagos big girls with their wigs and makeup, but in a quiet, natural way that couldn't be hidden by worn-out clothes or tired eyes. "Bukola, where did you find this girl?" Mrs. Folek asked one afternoon during their weekly tea party. "She's very pretty. Too pretty to be a maid." Mrs. Bukola laughed it off, but inside, something twisted. She looked at Amina differently after that day. She started noticing how her husband, Chief Bukola, lingered a bit too long when giving Amina instructions. How his eyes followed her when she served dinner. One evening, Chief Bukola came home late, clearly drunk. Amina was in the kitchen finishing the dishes when he stumbled in. "Amina, my dear," he slurred, leaning against the counter. "Why are you so hardworking? You should relax a little." "Thank you, sir. But I'm almost done," she replied, keeping her eyes down. He moved closer. "Too close. You know, you're different from the other maids. You have potential." His hand reached toward her shoulder. Amina jerked backward, nearly dropping a plate. "Sir, please. I need to go to my room." "Don't be rude," he said, his voice hardening. "I'm just being friendly." Before he could touch her, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Chief Bukola straightened up immediately and walked out just as Mrs. Bukola entered. She looked between them suspiciously. "What's going on here?" "Nothing, Ma. I was just finishing the dishes," Amina said quickly, her heart pounding. Mrs. Bukola's eyes narrowed, but she said nothing. That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She knew trouble was coming. She could feel it in her bones. The next morning, Mrs. Bukola called Amina into her bedroom. Her voice was ice cold. "So you think you're smart? Ma, don't play dumb with me. I saw how you were with my husband last night." Amina's eyes widened. "Ma, I swear, I didn't do anything. He came to the kitchen drunk and..." "Shut up. Mrs. Bukola slapped her so hard Amina's ear rang. You're trying to seduce my husband. After everything I've done for you. No, Ma. Please, it's not like that. But Mrs. Bukola wasn't listening. She grabbed Amina by the hair and dragged her out of the room. Get out of my house. Get out right now. Amina fell to her knees, crying. Please, Ma. I have nowhere to go. My brother depends on me. Please. Mrs. Bukola called her security men. Throw her out. Make sure everyone on this street sees what happens to homewreckers. The guards grabbed Amina roughly, dragging her through the compound as she screamed and pleaded. Neighbors came out to watch. Mrs. Bukola stood at the gate, arms crossed, as her friends gathered around her. This girl has been sleeping with my husband, she announced loudly. I caught them together. Gasps echoed through the crowd. Amina shook her head violently. It's a lie. I never touched him. Please, someone believe me. But Mrs. Folek stepped forward and slapped her. You shameless girl. How dare you destroy a family? Another woman poured water over Amina's head. Someone else threw mud. They beat her, insulted her, called her a prostitute and a witch. By the time they threw her outside the gates, Amina's clothes were torn, her face was swollen, and her spirit was shattered. She sat on the roadside, crying until she had no tears left. That night, with nowhere to go, Amina walked barefoot for hours until she found a church. The pastor's wife found her collapsed outside the next morning and took her in. For 3 days, Amina couldn't speak. She just stared at the ceiling, broken. On the 4th day, the pastor's wife sat beside her and held her hand. My daughter, I don't know your story, but I know God does. And He will not leave you here. They ruined me, Amina whispered. No one will believe me. I have nothing. I am nothing. You are alive, the woman said firmly. And as long as you're alive, you have a chance to become something they never expected. Those words planted a seed in Amina's heart. She stayed with the church family for 2 weeks, helping with cleaning and cooking to earn her keep. Then one afternoon, she overheard the pastor's wife talking to a friend. There's a woman in Abuja who trains young girls in fashion design. She takes them for free if they're serious. Amina's ears perked up. Fashion design. She had always loved sewing. As a child, her mother had taught her how to fix torn clothes with beautiful stitches. That night, Amina made a decision. She knelt by her bed and prayed. God, if you give me one more chance, I will use it. I won't waste it. The next morning, she asked the pastor's wife for help. Within a week, arrangements were made. Amina traveled to Abuja with just the clothes on her back and a borrowed phone. When she arrived at Mama Kaik's Fashion Academy, a stern older woman looked her up and down. You look too soft. Can you work hard? Harder than anyone you've ever met, Amina replied, her voice steady for the first time in weeks. Mama Kaik smiled. We'll see. For the next 2 years, Amina lived, breathed, and dreamed fashion. She was the first to arrive every morning and the last to leave at night. She learned cutting, stitching, pattern making, beading, embroidery. She watched YouTube tutorials until her eyes burned. She practiced on scraps of fabric until her fingers bled. And slowly, something began to happen. Her designs started standing out. Unique, bold, elegant. Other trainees asked her for help. Mama Kaik started using Amina's pieces for her exhibitions. One day, a wealthy client came to the academy and saw one of Amina's dresses. Who made this? She demanded. Mama Kaik pointed at Amina. That girl over there. The woman walked over, studying Amina carefully. I want you to design my daughter's wedding dress. I'll pay you 50,000 naira. Amina's hands trembled. Ma, are you sure? I'm very sure. You have a gift. That one dress changed everything. The wedding photos went viral on Instagram. People started calling, asking for Amina's contact. Within 6 months, she had enough money to rent a small shop in Abuja. She named it Amina Couture. Her designs became the talk of the city. Senators' wives, musicians, influencers, everyone wanted an Amina piece. She hired 3 girls to help her. Then 5. Then 10. Within a year, she opened a second shop. Then a third. By the end of year 2, she had boutiques in Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. One evening, as Amina sat in her new office, her assistant walked in with a magazine. "Madam, you made the cover of Fashion Africa." Amina stared at her own face on the glossy cover, dressed in one of her own designs. The headline read, "From Nothing to Everything, The Rise of Amina Couture." Tears filled her eyes. She thought about Mrs. Bukola, about the beatings, about the lies. And she whispered, "Thank you, God. You didn't leave me there." But there was one thing left to do. One place she had to face. The next morning, Amina booked a flight to Lagos. She hired a driver, a luxury car, and a camera crew. When she pulled up to Lekki Phase 1, dressed in a stunning gold gown she had designed herself, the entire street stopped. Mrs. Bukola was hosting her monthly tea party when someone ran in. "Ma, you won't believe who just drove into the estate." Mrs. Bukola walked outside and froze. Standing in front of her gate was Amina, glowing, confident, untouchable. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Bukola," Amina said calmly. Mrs. Bukola's mouth opened and closed like a fish. "Amina." "Yes, Ma. It's me. The maid you threw out. The one you called a witch." The other women gathered around, whispering. Mrs. Folek gasped. "Is that really her?" Amina smiled. "I came back to say thank you. Thank you for pushing me out of your gate, because that push led me to my destiny. Today, I own 3 boutiques across Nigeria. My designs are worn by governors' wives. And next month, I'm opening my 4th store right here in Lekki." Mrs. Bukola's face turned pale. "Amina, please. I was wrong. You didn't mean to lie. To beat me. To destroy my name." Amina's voice was steady, but her eyes blazed. "You almost destroyed me, Ma. But you forgot one thing, God doesn't punish the innocent forever." The crowd was silent. Then, slowly, Mrs. Bukola fell to her knees. "Please forgive me. I was jealous. I was angry. But you didn't deserve what I did to you." Amina looked down at her for a long moment. Then she said, "I forgive you, Mrs. Bukola. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and one more thing. I'm hiring. If you know any maids who need a job, send them to me. I pay well, I treat people with respect, and I never lie to anyone." As Amina drove away, Mrs. Bukola collapsed, crying. The same women who had beaten Amina now stared at Mrs. Bukola with disgust. And in that moment, everyone learned a powerful lesson: the same person you push down today might be the one signing your paycheck tomorrow. Before you go, if this story inspired you, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss stories like this. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have forgiven Mrs. Bukola? And remember, your current situation is not your final destination. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.